Folks, welcome back to the DNR Podcast. I'm your host, the winner of episode 4, Ben Davis, new threat on season 41, alongside my co-host, Riley Osborne. Riley, I don't want to say let's start with the big theme, the big thing from this episode, but how could we not mention it in the intro to today's episode?
I was thinking it's about damn time my boy Ben the Bane Davis got some airtime. Obviously perfect timing. Last episode, you were like, I'm going to prove myself. Didn't work out. This episode, you were like, whatever. And it did work out. So that was awesome. I can't wait to break down the details of it because there's a few questions I have regarding strategy in that challenge and how that went down. There's also a bunch of interesting information that we've been snooping and sniffing around the internet and discovering for you guys that was kind of left out of this episode. And I'm very excited about covering all that stuff.
We've done so much sniffing ahead of today's DNR.
We've sniffed the whole internet. We combed the forest. I just want to say, sorry, Ben, last time I was holding my mic. Next week, the desk will be ready. But right now, for better audio, I've put my mic in a cup. So
that's innovative. That is innovative.
Like, you've got a desk stand. I have a cup. I think it's about the same. We'll see how the audio comes out.
I think your cup might be a little cheaper than the desk stand, so smarter there. But no, to your point about how last episode and really up until this point in the season, there was just not much Ben Davis, right? I was kind of the background character. Granted, that was part of the strategy, is avoid the smoke, stay out of all this crossfire between Olivia and Bananas. And that shows, right? If you look at the confessional totals after episode 3, I was the least amount in the house, right? Here's a quick peek after episode 3. I had 6 confessionals. That's tied with Dio, bottom of the barrel, right? Everybody else had more. Everybody else had just a more compelling storyline. And I was, in the house
until now,
until episode 4, where we take a big jump up. We had 7 whole confessionals in one episode. Woo! More than I've got the entire season. For why? Because your boy came in first. And this really was like the perfect storm. So before we even get into the daily challenge and then obviously this elimination with Bananas and Gabe, I kind of want to rewind it back to the selection after episode 3. So I come in, I believe... Well, I DQ'd, actually. So me and Cara, back of the line.
But a lot of people DQ'd.
Half the teams did DQ. Didn't really matter too much. But Michaela selects me. Michaela had finished, I think, third or fourth in episode 3. And she says, let's give Ben a shot. When she picked me, Riley, what was your sort of thought? Was that, cool, new partner?
Yeah, it also felt a lot like there's almost more strategy going into timing now than actual partner selection. So I was torn between either she was confident in your abilities or she was like, it's a guy's week, so I'm low risk. I should take Ben now. And it's hard to pinpoint, but it felt whack the longer the episode went on because it was like you guys are working together, like hell yeah, Ben's crushing it, she's doing well. And then later, you're both just kind of looking at each other like, we don't fuck with each other that much. Like,
bro, here's,
am I off with that?
No, that's an accurate assessment. And the edit, how the edit has come out, I think put her and I in the best lights possible. They easily in the editing room could have made me look like a giant dumbass. They easily in the editing room could have made her look like a giant dumbass. I think her and I just we philosophically clashed with how to use this power, which is such a shame because we were lighting it up as a team. I didn't click with anybody in the daily challenge quite like I clicked with Michaela. Now, thankfully, this one was much more in my wheelhouse. It was a maze, so it's about speed, endurance, and then obviously critical thinking skills, Sudoku, a game, you know what I mean? And much more in my wheelhouse, and I think that showed. But, yeah, it sucks how the first half of the episode, we're chumming it up, we're best buds, and then it really just falls off a cliff quite quickly. But we'll get there when we get there. I want to take it to the beginning of this daily challenge. Before it even starts, the buses roll up. to a fucking junkyard. Dude, like, we were in the middle of nowhere. Like, up until this point, the challenges have been, out in a quarry, or we had to go up the Andes Mountains to get to this side-by-side, puzzle podium daily challenge, and this one we're, like, just going into the slums. and then we roll up in this junkyard, and I was like, fuck, like, what is happening here? And we can't see anything. It's just shipping containers. Like, obviously, you don't really get to get an aerial look of the maze, but we just had no clue what was going to be inside there. So I think this was pretty clear in the episode, but for those that maybe didn't pick up on it, nobody knew it was Sudoku. Like, it was quite a surprise to most people.
Was there any hint that there was going to be Sudoku? Because someone said they'd learned it the night before. So was there any suggestion that Sudoku was going to be happening?
There wasn't anything from production or the teams that hinted Sudoku's going to be the next daily challenge.
Okay.
Make sure you polish up on your skills. What's funny is I had actually learned how to do Sudoku 2 days prior. So
why?
Because I had never known how to play it, and Tay, the best Aussie ever, had a big Sudoku book. And so we try to burn time on one of these days, and a bunch of us just rip out pages and start doing Sudoku puzzles. And lo and behold, a lot of the people in the house did not know how to do it. And so, like, me and Jeremy spent quite a considerable amount of time doing these Sudoku puzzles. And I remember even on the elliptical, right before we found Tay's book, the elliptical, you could, like, go to the games.
Yeah.
And Sudoku was one of the games on the elliptical. So you'd be like, just doing your elliptical workout and playing Sudoku on the machine. So in this effort to just burn time and keep my brain active, prepped myself the best way possible for this daily challenge. Like, to the point where driving to that junkyard, I was sitting there doing a Sudoku puzzle on the bus. Not even knowing that was going to be the most clutch fucking thing I could possibly do. And nobody knew up until the start of the challenge, right? They handed us these black bags right before TJ blows the horn, and I'm right behind Michaela, and she's wearing the black bag. I start feeling it. Right, I start feeling the bottom of the bag because
there's squares in here.
Yeah, there's blocks. I'm feeling blocks. But everybody's speculation had, like, as usual, spiraled to the nth degree. So when TJ is saying, okay, all of the puzzles inside the maze go from hardest, closer to the entrance, to easiest, deeper inside the maze, we're thinking, like, okay, it could be like a tanagram is the farthest one away, and then the ones closest could be like some complex slider, or maybe we'll have to run through.
But sorry to pause you for a sec. It's like you only have to complete one puzzle. Yes?
Yeah.
You don't. These puzzles were not actually labeled, because for us, the audience, the puzzle's labeled. It's like easy. But when you're running up to this, it's just a puzzle. You don't know if it's easy or not.
Exactly. I thought that we had a medium puzzle, and turns out it was one of the easy ones.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it just, like, absolute no guidance when we kick this thing off. And what happens is kind of funny. Like, we actually went first. This is kind of an editing, a framing thing. My heat was the first heat. I get, though, why they put the second heat as the
second
first
heat was
one.
more competitive.
Everyone finished.
And but it was close. Like, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, it made for better TV. I mean, Jeremy, first off, looks like a mortal for the first time, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And, yeah, like, it shows. I mean, they were, what was it, like 30 seconds apart? That was good TV. Whereas, like you're saying, like, your heat, some people are there for, like, 45
minutes getting time. I didn't even realize it was a 45-minute clock that we were burning through. Like, me and Michaela finished that within 8 to 10 minutes, I think. And Sydney and Turbo, like, it's framed as we finished at the same time, but they were a couple minutes behind us. And they didn't show this in the episode. Maybe it'll be a deleted scene. But Turbo got fined, like, $1,000 or something, $1,500, because what happened when they were running to the finish line, me and Michaela were hiding behind the shipping container to make them think that they were first. And we told Gabe, because he's standing there like a doofus at the finish line, we told him, make them think that they're coming in first. Make them think they're beating everyone. And so Gabe is, like, losing his mind. They're turning. They're coming around. We're hiding. And we jump out, and we're like, yes! And Turbo got so fucking mad. He takes his helmet and, like, slams it on the ground. And he's just like, bro, he is mad. Very fucking mad.
the fact that you guys all unanimously were just like, okay, we've won. Let's just punk the shit out of the next team.
Our first move as the winners to prank.
Hey, Gabe, can you be in on this? And Gabe's immediately like, yes. I will mess with these people for no reason.
I couldn't be more disliked in this house. I will do it. No,
what's the worst that could happen? Like,
that was funny. And Turbo, they literally had to talk to him and find him, and tough.
Just
because
he was crashing out.
He crashed out.
That bad of a crash out.
Threw his helmet. Big ol'.
What is
big
going
frustration
on with the editors, bro?
Yeah.
Give us some of the sauce. That would have been awesome.
Well, listen, we'll talk about sauce. We'll get to some juice in a little bit. And what's funny about this is, like, if you've been noticing the online back and forth between me and Sydney, that's occurring on a weekly basis right now, I give her a big ol' hug after she crosses the finish line. I give her a big ol' hug because in that moment, her and I are connected, allied in the house. So happy she came second. It's just funny how that's aged. But either way, so we finished, City finishes, and I think one other team in our heat finishes, and then nobody else does. So most notably, Bananas coming in last because he made the rookiest of rookie moves by taking everything off of the board. When you saw that, were you like, no way a seven-time champ would do something like that?
What do you mean when he's trying to like clean the slate?
Yeah.
I think for me it was they weren't getting anywhere. So I didn't think it was that rookie because it was like he clearly just did not know how to solve the puzzle. I think they had a hard one as well, but also it's like if you don't know Sudoku, I mean, You're cooked. So that didn't surprise. That was kind of like you've lost anyways, so he was just trying to throw whatever he could at the wall. So yeah, I didn't think too much of that. I didn't think it was like a rookie mistake or a veteran. It was like he just didn't know the answer. Yeah, I guess the only issue I would have, the only question I really had was the maze aspect of it did not seem very difficult at all.
It was a little tricky. Coming into the maze, Michaela and I hit like 2 dead ends. Okay. And so we were backtracking and we're like, fuck, let's take the first thing we get. And we, saw it was Sudoku. And for like a split second, I was like, oh, thank God we got the only Sudoku puzzle in this maze.
Got a big label on it. Easy. You're like,
this is baby difficulty.
Easiest one in the maze up top.
But like even when we first got there, I was like, oh, no one else got Sudoku. I'm stupid, but yeah, it was odd that so many people DQ'd, and so when Heat 2 starts, our group is praying that everyone DQs. Mm-hmm. We thought that a lot of people were going to not finish, and so to see every team just like cross the finish line after half of our Heat couldn't finish, we were just like,
So multiple people DQ, but because Bananas had nothing on the board, he's a loser.
Yeah, that's how they ranked it. If you timed out,
that is
whatever
stupid.
Is. But I will say this: like, it was very nice that when Michaela and I ran across the finish line first, everybody in the other heat, right? They could see they were kept probably like a football field away from the entrance to the maze, but you could see who's finishing. They lost their minds when we ran across the finish line. It was actually very kind. They were all like, let's fucking go. I think the house was aware of how, and it's even mentioned in this episode, how hard I was being on myself, like to a maybe stupid degree. Like beating myself up a bit
like
too
at
much.
night after the episode, not really shown to the people, you're beating yourself up. You're kind of walking around the house, hitting your head against the wall.
Actually, quite literally, yeah. I would bang my head against the wall for 2 hours every night, and
no, but I'm just saying, like, the audience didn't get to see that because they were talking about that. They're like, I mean, it was mentioned that you have so much heart and grit and determination, which I know, but I think a lot of the audience doesn't know that about you, and I don't think that would come off when someone just meets you that you're that type of person. You are, but. So I thought that was cool that they added the pieces where people were kind of alluding to that and were being like, yeah, he's got a lot of heart and got a lot of grit, and he's super hard on himself. So I think that people were almost just pumped to see you win in that regard, right? First off, I think we'll continue. We'll get to it, but I think you guys played it really well as well when it came to the decision making to not make waves. I thought that was really smart.
That was all me.
I know it was.
I take full, and no disrespect to Michaela, because I understand how her brain was working, but like,
it was wrong.
It was
that would have been an
incorrect.
awful idea. That would have been an awful idea.
And okay, so we'll save the Michaela versus Ben to the night out, but we wrap up this challenge, and we were pretty confident, me and Michaela were, that we had been faster than CT and Adrienne, because we were just sitting there, we watched them finish, and we were like, that was quick, but we think we were a little bit quicker. And winning the daily, fucking awesome. I just wish that we had won 1 week prior or 1 week later, because obviously the power that we were granted was put someone on the chopping block instead of saving a team. Saving a team would have been the easiest thing of all time, because Michaela and I could then free points, right. Building an olive branch, right, extending some more relationships in the house, and I don't think it would have caused me and Michaela to clash at each other quite so heavily, but whatever. Now we get this power, and we head back to the house. I'm pumped up. Everybody is super awesome. I'm kind of bummed that they didn't show any of the on-the-fly interviews that Michaela and I had before and after, when we were speaking about, what our game plan might be, and then obviously after we won, how that feeling was. Because I literally say something about how, I learned how to do Sudoku yesterday, so it'd be pretty dope if there's fucking Sudoku in there. and then
like they took that out because that feels like
it's almost too which is like I just was pinching myself, because I was like, no way, I feel I have manifested as I've spoken it into existence. And I'll quickly, before I know we're chatting about this daily challenge quite a lot, kind of like the episode, but what really set, I think, me and Michaela apart from some other teams is we very easily and efficiently fell into roles. I wasn't going to be stepping on her toes, and she wasn't going to be stepping on mine. You see a couple teams, right, where they're doing the too many cooks in the kitchen. Ashley and Leo both trying to solve it with their own ideas, getting nowhere. Nani and Jake having no clue what to do anyways. I knew, okay, Michaela, she wants to take the driver's seat, cool. I put like all the little magnetic numbers on the floor, and she would just be like, give me a 6, give me a 7. And as I would hand them up to her, I would look and go, hey, that one's a 3 right there, because this and that. And she'd be like, oh, get a 3. And like she mentions in the episode, more and more trust goes as the challenge progressed, which I think is like the opposite of some teams where they start fully trusting the other to be able to complete it, and then they just end up shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, I mean, that is... It's often in leadership training, like, good leadership is also knowing when to be a good follower. Yeah. Does that make sense? So good leadership is knowing when, okay, you be number 1, I'll be number 2, and then supporting number 1 in the best possible way. That's leadership. So it's like that was really interesting to me, because Sudoku in its own way, not that I'm some expert, I kind of hate it actually, but it's not something that's easy to do in a team. And there's a limited benefit to having 2 people. In some ways, it could be negative, right? Because if you're trying to work the puzzle in a certain way and somebody's just kind of throwing numbers at it, that's going to mess up with your process. So I thought that your biggest, the reason you guys won was really, like you just said, you fell into those roles where some teams it was like, shut up, don't even talk to me, let me figure this out. And it's like, okay, well, now there's 2 of you standing here like an asshole. Like you might as well be solitary. Gabe might as well be doing this again. I don't know why he wasn't allowed to, but
it'd be funny. Just let him solo every challenge.
It, yeah. But no, so I thought that was interesting. But so it was a good win. Again, we won't fret on this too much. Bananas loses, you guys win. Yeah,
I've got one last thing to mention on it.
For sure.
We called check the first time, and it was incorrect, but not because we had any of the numbers in different spots. Like it was the orientation. So one of our 3s was backwards.
I hate that.
And so I was like, yeah, I know. I didn't know it, because that's the time that CT and Adrienne were getting on our heels. Is us calling check, them being like, nope,
backwards 3.
And literally, man. I'm looking at
it. Your 9 is upside down.
Yeah, oopsies. That one backwards. It was almost the moment of like, oh, fuck. But then we speed out of the maze, and I was running at such a high clip that instead of like slowing down to turn the corners, I would just run right into the shipping container and then bounce off it and then keep going.
Beast.
Yeah. But yeah, so we win. Bananas loses. Crazy. This is, I think... Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, but this is only the second time where he's lost a daily challenge in his 222 daily challenges. And
Wow.
the first time where he loses a daily and goes right to the arena. So this is like uncharted territory, historic low for Johnny Bananas. And obviously, many members of the House were overjoyed to see him in this shitty position.
It felt like there was almost like a piece across the house sending Bananas in. It was funny because like in my head, keep in mind this is my first season watching this show. He does carry so much confidence and so much, I guess even just the amount of attention that's given to him by the rest of the cast, that it does feel in a way that he has some other rule book he's playing by. That, there's no way Bananas can just get eliminated like this. You know? It's this weird where you're like, well, there's got to be some way to protect this guy.
Which has led to conspiracy theories about like production rigging things for him and getting, such preferential treatment. And I know that that's a sensitive subject for some. I won't pretend to know every, conspiracy about Bananas and his proverbial power. But the dude has just been here so many times that he does have this impervious energy. And so the fact that he just botched himself was really, frankly, quite funny. For the guy an episode prior saying, I am the challenge, to coming
They just canned the whole show now? Okay, well, it's done.
I guess this season's over, guys, right? Gabe wins the whole fucking thing. But okay, so let's progress to the night out. We get to celebrate. You get a 1 or 2 second glimpse of my full outfit, which is the red suit. I've got the Bane belt. I've got the shoes. And I debut the sleeveless turtleneck, which I think, Riley, you have a level of awareness of the sleeveless turtleneck, because I think I brought it to the Miami show last year, right, in August?
Yeah, but you were wearing a full, like, drug dealer suit. The white linen that got blood on it. That was hard. That was crazy.
That was, and it's true. And okay, so but this sleeveless turtleneck, I loved it. A lot of people didn't. We'll get to the social responses at the end of the episode.
What?
But
dude, you looked sick. You looked like we got to pull up that meme.
I'll quickly bring one of. I have a couple. Here's one of them. Ben, please tell me why you chose the night of your win to dress like a woman with 5 cats in her midlife crisis, about to leave for a slam poetry game.
Dog, if that picture was on your driver's license, 50% of people would think you're a lesbian.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, no, I see it. I do see it. I didn't realize it. I thought I looked really cool in the moment. Bro, in the moment,
I thought you looked sick. I thought it was. I loved it. I loved it.
I actually think lesbians look awesome.
Well, hell yeah.
Bad
but I mean, that angle was not it.
No, not flattering. They for some reason they didn't get a single flattering angle of the sleeveless turtleneck. Definitely the ankle. But I want to mention
neck, not the turtleneck,
not the T-neck, dude.
Yeah.
So before we even head out to this bar, me and Michaela are walking up the driveway together, and I just sort of like said to her, hey, how do you want to do this night? Do you want to talk to everybody together? Do you want to like divide and conquer? And I told her at the beginning of this evening, look, I've talked to a lot of people already, while we were coming back from the challenge and getting ready to go out. There is a consensus about Gabe going in. Like, there's a energy in the air. Everybody just thinks, hey, he's the hangnail. Why the fuck not? And I literally told her that, right? And she was like, oh, okay, cool. Makes our job easy. So initially, we start the night on the same page, where Michaela and I both understand, Gabe's going in. No reason to row against the flow of the entire fucking house, right? Like that was what really boiled my beans about this fucking situation. Is
when does she flip the script on you? Like right in this moment?
Not
like
in
you
this
guys
moment.
are on the same page, and then you're not out of nowhere.
It was literally like an hour in us being at the bar is when her and I and our partnership kind of crumbled. We had sat down deep. I forgot my wallet. at the fucking house, so I didn't have a single drop of alcohol that night. I didn't have a single drop of alcohol for most of that. I think someone bought me a glass of wine at some point, which I have in that lesbian photo. But like, we sit down with Johnny first and foremost, and we're just like, look, sucks. to be you, but is there anybody else that you want to go against? And Johnny literally looks at me and he's like, well, the one guy I want to go against won today, so... And I was just like, oh.
Wow, great politics, dog. What the fuck?
You know what? I think Gabe should go in there.
You know what? Who's even harder than Gabe to beat?
Yeah. Let me get the hardest guy. No, I don't think...
Which I think it actually was Gabe, looking at the challenge. I think he was, without a doubt, the most equipped guy to win that challenge. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, but it was kind of funny for Bananas to say that. And ultimately, though...
This guy has the worst politics of all time. Like, he has the worst strategizing ever. It's so funny.
It's shock everybody around you into, either following you or just wanting to stay away from you, right? I guess it's a very dictator-esque approach that Johnny brings. But no, I after he made that joke, we just kept going back and forth a little bit, and ultimately he was like, I don't care. He's like, I'm not going to try and, like, throw somebody in there. Like, it's whatever happens, happens. And that was kind of interesting for him to be so resigned to the decision. Because, again, the way he's portrayed in the show and has been for season after season is man with a plan. Guy has answers. Guy always has a ninth life that he can dig into. And it was really weird to talk to him, and he was just, I don't want to say defeated at the bar, but just like he didn't have any answers. Didn't have any last Hail Marys. But so then Johnny gets up, fucks off, and Leroy comes and sits down. We're chatting with Leroy. Nice conversation. Obviously, he's Bananas number one. But at some point in the conversation, he sort of turns and he's like, Ben, I can't do a Leroy impression.
Probably for the best. Probably for the best to hold that one to yourself, yeah.
This is Leroy if it was just me, how I normally speak. Okay. He basically was like, you can't play on the fence. Like, you can't play in the middle. And we go back and forth a little bit about just my gameplay this season. And I was like, oh, okay. I appreciate the unsolicited feedback, I suppose. Mm-hmm. He gets up, fucks off. Cedric comes and sits down and initiates a very fun conversation with Cedric. You see a little bit of it. Michaela did ask me who's the smartest, and I was like, probably the fucking special intelligence communications officer. If I had to take a swing, maybe him. But he does the same thing at some point. He turns and he's like, Benjamin, I'm not going to try to do a Cedric impression. This is Cedric if he was...
Stop doing that. Stupid.
He basically says the same thing. He's like, you're playing the middle and you can't do that. That's not very smart. And part of me literally wanted to be like, you're doing the same thing. Yeah. Like, Cedric and I basically were playing the same exact fucking game. And it just irritated me to have, like, Leroy, Cedric back-to-back just shitting on how I'm doing things on a night where I'm supposed to be, like, celebrating finally coming through. Now I recognize that that's, like, a bit of an immature perspective, and I do think that night out I could have played a lot of things a lot smarter. But that's kind of what cued me and Michaela up for this clash, is, like, me getting frustrated at people coming over and just shitting on me.
And they're offering you, honestly, I don't think that is very good advice. And there is also the argument of, like, how do you know, you're in a position of power, right? Do they know what your win is, like what your power play is at this point?
They knew that our power was putting someone on the chopping block against Gabe. What nobody knew was who we were going to pick.
But what I'm saying is they have incentive to get in your head and fuck with you. Yeah. So there's no benefit to what they're saying. It's like, it doesn't matter. Not only are they giving you unsolicited advice, you can't actually govern whether or not that is them trying to get in your head or not.
Yeah. And the reality, again, is, like, it's just ill-informed opinions, right? Telling somebody, oh, you're playing in the middle. It's like, maybe to you, I am. But to the people that I'm closely aligned with, I'm sure they'd have other feelings, just because I'm not giving you that type of energy, time, communication. I don't know. It's neither here nor there. But so me and Michaela sit down, and basically she starts talking about trying to find another option. She goes on about how Gabe going in doesn't really benefit her game, and a vet male going in would probably be a bit for the better. And that's when I literally try and, again, reiterate, like, dude, that's not going to work. Everybody wants to throw Gabe in. You're going to have to convince at least, like, 8 different teams, 7 different teams to vote for somebody other than Gabe. And let's run a quick tally on all the things that Gabe's done that has fucking put him in this position. So kicking it off with making up a rumor about Justin not wanting to be in the house, right? Justin doesn't want to be on the challenge. Taking accountability for that rumor. Starting that shit with Will on the bus and having that whole problem going back and forth. Shitting on Nia instantly, which pissed off every single person in the house. And then it gets a bit worse because Will gets word, or rather somehow it comes out in a group conversation where, like, Gabe was calling people before the show had started, right? When we were all in the hotel, Gabe was calling people. I was calling people. Jeremy was calling people. Will was calling people. It was pretty much a lot of the new threats. But in this moment, everybody pinned it on Gabe again. Either way, because basically Gabe called Will and he was like, "Hey man, like a lot of the new threats." Hold on, I'm not gonna do a Gabe impression. This is. He tells Will, he's like,
He tells Will,
the new threats don't trust you, Will. And we've been in the hotel for like a day. Keep in mind, we have not spent any time with each other at this point. And so Will's sitting in his hotel room like, I haven't even met most of them. Which is true, because like Gabe did call me and he was like, who are you feeling, who are you not feeling? And I was like, well, I haven't really talked with Will, so I don't know if I really trust him at the moment. But that's the same to be said for everybody. Gabe then twists that, goes to Will and says nobody trusts him. I'm not going to take accountability for that. That's Gabe being stupid. Again, so it's like he has done all of this digging to put himself in this hole, and the house is just over it. And they're like, you're going in. Gabe himself is all at night, every single day going, yeah, just throw me down in the sand. Just throw me down in the sand. Like, I'm fine having to fight to prove myself and come back. And it's like, great, well, you're speaking that directly into existence, and I am not going to get in the way of you punishing yourself or putting yourself at risk, right?
Well, also my thought process is, like you just listed all that, and the alternative is you guys elect someone that you genuinely want to go in there instead. You try to convince the house, you put your neck out there, and then 4 people vote for them and Gabe still goes in. And now you have an enemy for no reason. That's the biggest reason. That's almost definitely what would have happened. It's like, she's like, oh yeah, no, we can do this. You know, we can alternate this in a way where we can try, but it's like, it's not going to work. And then you're just going to be standing there with your pants down. You know what I mean?
Especially
then you're going to have
with who they wanted to throw in.
They
wanted to go after Theo. So Sydney, Lekka, and Michaela somehow get it in their minds that Theo is someone that can be put up on the not only put up on the chopping block, but then get voted in to go against Bananas. I'm like...
And they want Bananas to win, assuming that's why they're sending Theo in.
Michaela wanted Bananas to win. Yeah. She, kept everything close to her chest, but it's clear that her game is greatly benefited from Johnny being in. She was a big ally of his, however, obvious or not. So that's what they wanted to engineer, was a scenario in which Johnny could come back. I guess they felt Theo would be the best opponent for him. Johnny did send Theo home, I think, on season 40. So they've had some elimination history together with Johnny coming out on top. But it bothered me because I was like, up until that point, thinking Michaela and I were pretty closely aligned. Like, there would be times where she would give me a little bit of information. Like, for instance, day 1, when Rogan was going around saying Justin or Ben. Michaela came over and was like, look, he's saying your name. Don't play his game, right? Just be wary. And I was like, okay, cool. When Adrienne was saying, Michaela, to go into the elimination instead of Tay, like, that could be a good one. I literally had a conversation with Olivia and Adrienne was talking about getting Michaela in. First thing I fucking did after that convo, go up, talk to Michaela, and was like, hey, man, she's tossing your name around. And Michaela was like, oh, shit, thanks for letting me know. So up until this point, I was like, we are helping each other out. And then for it to all fall apart because you decide behind my back that you want to take the biggest shot in the fucking house when I'm attached to you and I have no association with that idea whatsoever. It's not something that you felt You could communicate to me. And so that's when I shut down. When she starts presenting this, and I was like, no, that is dumb as fuck. And then she starts grilling me. And this is, thankfully, this is not shown. But she's like, so who are you working for? Like, who are you working with? And initially, I was like, there's just so much I wish I could have done differently in this conversation because of what it could have led to in the future. But I basically just said, Yermy. I was like, because you hear me in the confessional, I'm like, I'm going to keep my cards close to my chest. So I was like, I'm not going to tell you. But I guess I need to tell you something because I can't just like, you can't just ask me who you're working with. And I'm like, nobody.
Yeah.
Like, clearly that's not true. So I was like, Yermy. And she's like, well, if you're just working with Yermy, then, you need to sit this out. You need to sit this conversation out. You need to sit this decision out. And I was like, well, I'm also working with CT and Kara. That's more of a lie.
Yeah, but also, like, you can't sit this decision out. It's 50% your decision. She's trying to steamroll you.
Well, 100%. And, like, I was fine with her trying to steamroll my choice because then if she went for this big swing, I could just throw her directly under the bus to everybody else and be like, look at what fucking Michaela did, guys. That's crazy. Which would have been my game plan up until the morning, which we'll get to.
So, sorry, but she successfully steamrolls you. You think she's going to go through with this, and then the morning she switches her tune. But at this point, that's what you think.
Yeah, at this point, I was like, oh, Michaela's making all the decisions here. Fine by me. You want that level of risk on yourself? Sure. I don't care. Weird, but clearly you're not going to listen to me. Clearly you're not working as closely with me as I thought we were. And so maybe it's just best that we kind of divorce a little bit. And so then I kind of fucked off a little bit and bring out my bad dancing, which wasn't shown, unfortunately. We didn't get any bad dancing, I don't think, in this episode, which breaks the streak, which is terrible. Worst thing of the episode.
Okay, so how do you want to do this? Do you want to go into some of the things that we have figured out about that happened that night? Do you want to show that after, or do you want to just go right to the elimination right now?
I think we could go into the juice that wasn't shown right now.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Pull it up.
Okay.
Because this is some good stuff.
So before we head back to the house, Riley, or rather at the bar, and then this spills back into the house, there was a bit of a mess that occurs, which was alluded to quite some time ago, but then really brought into the full spectrum. And Johnny Bananas speaks about it on his podcast. Let's hear what Johnny has to say.
Riding on the challenge.
I think America needs to practice a little more of it because they didn't show.
America as in
Yes.
the challenger.
The challenger.
Like the country.
No, America needs to drink more. The country.
Yeah.
America, the challenger needs to. Actually, she should drink more too because the best night that she had was the night when she got annihilated on and made out with fucking like 4 people. Tried to hook up with CT, fucking making out with D on the bus.
Those rumors are true.
100%.
And she had a boyfriend.
Yes.
Awesome. Good.
Can confirm 100% America went absolutely fucking apeshit that night.
Really?
Yes, dude. Had to be like it was, and the fact they didn't show it, I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I feel like they don't show the good stuff anymore.
They don't, man.
The bus fights.
Dude, the bus hookups. Like,
The bus hookups.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like,
What do you think?
All the bus hookups. My favorite time to hook up with someone was on the bus. So that's a interesting.
I love Banana's
Obviously.
advice there. He's like, she went crazy. She should do that more often.
She should do it all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And
She
What's
should
weird-
drink every single day.
what's weird about it is you do see a glimpse of what Johnny's talking about in the season trailers. So you've got this clip.
This is the challenge house.
This was from episode 4. This is America D on the bus. Cedric. Dude, Cedric is beaming in the back over here.
This is awesome.
Whoa, I've never seen this before.
2 girls making out. Oh my god. Dude, they're making out, but they're both chicks.
They're both women. Cedric's seen 2 girls kiss for the first time. So America is seated like right here, and then me and Yermy are in these 2 seats, right?
Kissing.
So we're directly. I was actually giving him a blowjob. I was giving him head, and because we were like, well, America's making out with people.
Oh my god, Ben.
No,
Classic Ben. Let's take the joke 10 notches further.
So this is all kind of spiraling out of 4 glasses of wine that America had. She was drinking some white wine at the bar and was getting a bit fucked up. I remember she came up to me near the end of the night and, you know, was slurring her words a little bit, clearly having a lot of fun. But she would, like, cycle between talking game and then, like, you know, not talking game. It was really fucking weird. We'd just be
Talking
chatting.
game and making out with people?
Well, yeah. So it was in the bus where this kind of like starts the makeout stuff, and then that kind of spills into the house. But like even before we get back on the buses, she'd be like, we'd be talking about whatever books, you know, movies, and then she'd be like, "So who are you working with? Like, I don't think like we're working with too many people. Like, we should work together more." And then we just go.
And is she
I was
drunk
like,
at this time?
Yeah, I think so.
So she's
I
like
think so.
wasted and trying to strategize?
Which
That
is
must be
funny.
awesome.
I
That must be
like the
hilarious.
gumption, you know.
Yeah.
She's like, so how are we gonna
Ben-
get out of this pickle?
Ben, you just gotta listen. You just gotta listen to me, dude. We gotta be a team. We gotta formulate a team, and we're gonna crush
We're
it.
gonna get him out. We're gonna get Olivia out of here. We're gonna get her going home. I feel bad. And I want to say this. I do not condone any of the online like slander or harassment or all these other things.
Well, hang on. We gotta kind of keep that same energy
Yeah, we have to
because she
It's
was cheating. So, and
Yeah,
that's
it is-
BS.
It's not, you know, it's not good whatsoever. And, you know, obviously, like we talked about with the Rogan situation, or kind of not with the Rogan situation, with the Will situation. If you know you get a certain way when you drink, you need to moderate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And America, I don't know if, you know, she had really gotten drunk in the house before up until this point. I can't remember instance of it, but gets really hammered. And yeah, on the bus, makes out with D. Tries to make out with Leo a ton, and I think she made out with one of the other girls, maybe one or two of the British girls. They'll have to.
Did she make out with any of the guys?
No, didn't make out with any of the guys. Leo, thankfully, to his credit, it was like, no, I think you're a little too fucked up. But we get back to the house, and as we're kind of coming in, I think America was like chatting with Olivia's boyfriend, Theo. And what some said is she like tried to grab him. I don't know in what capacity or the context of it, but that kind of pissed Olivia off to the point where she goes and sits America down for like 15, 20 minutes and was just talking to her. I think trying to articulate like, girl, you're being a little bit much right now. You're trying to take my boyfriend who just impregnated me, and I'm not having it. You know, I'm not having it. Try and, you know, take a step back. And then Leo went out and talked to her for quite some time, which was nice of him. And she got to a pretty, like, I don't want to say sober point, but I think she just grasped the surroundings a little bit more. And while these conversations were happening, America with Olivia and chatting with Leo, like, there were groups of people watching from the gym room, from the bedroom, from the literally, like, I think somebody was like crawling on the ground to get, you know, within earshot of this conversation. So like the whole house is just observing this evening, right? And if anybody says they weren't, they're fucking lying. I saw everybody there. But I will say this, the one thing that I didn't see and don't think anyone else did, and don't think many can corroborate, is this question right here that some people have continued to pose, which is America cheating on Corey with CT. That's what a lot of people said. America was trying to hook up with CT. Johnny said it. You know, oh, America was trying to get up with CT. Lex says, no, she did not. I think I can co-sign on that one. I don't think she tried to hook up with CT in any capacity. I think someone made a joke that she did, right? Someone told her in the morning, oh, you tried to make out with CT or whatever else. And somehow that joke then became a quote-unquote fact that people believed. But I don't think that that was one of the people that she was going at. But yeah.
But there were others.
There were others. And she did on the bus ask Jeremy and I if we wanted to kiss. And I was like, no, I'm okay.
I'm good. I'm busy with Jeremy right now.
Yeah,
Thank you very
I'm
much.
sorry. I'm spoken for in this bus.
Do you see this guy?
Speaking of Jeremy, he was debuting his OnlyFans earlier today, which
No.
Quite good content. Yeah, I know. We're not
Damn.
debuting it, but he put up the most insane fucking photo on his Instagram story. He did an AMA, and it's like he was showing off his tattoo, but his tattoo is like his chest and then goes down to his upper thigh, and maybe I'll find it and put it on the screen. Who knows? For those that's your thing, good photo. But either way, neither here nor there. That's the mess
You're
of this
a Marine,
episode.
Jeremy. What's with all these Marines doing OnlyFans? Jesus.
I serve and protect.
Yeah.
And I also get a little crazy.
Yeah, and I get erect.
But yeah, so we then wake up day of nomination, and this is where my frustration with Michaela boils to a different point, because I go down there and I'm kind of like walking on eggshells a little bit, because I just didn't like how we had left things at the bar the night prior. She didn't mention a name to me at all, and honestly, like she was hard to find that day of nominations. I remember like
Very elusive that morning.
yeah, dude, I was up for like 2 hours, and I was like, has anyone seen her? And they were like, a lot of people were like, no. And then I find her on a sunbed. I walk over and was just like, look, so, where's your head at? You kind of made it clear that this is your decision. So I am just wondering, who we putting on the chopping block. And that's when she gives me this bullshit about how, I'm not really competing directly with the guys. So since it's a guys' day, I'm going to leave that decision to you. I'm going to let you take the lead on this one. And I
I'm
was
going to throw
like,
you under the bus. Now that you have 15 minutes to figure this out.
That is exactly what fucking occurred. And, again, I basically found myself back to square one, where I was like, okay, let's just pick the team that's going to shake the house as little as possible, make as few waves, because, again, like I said in the nomination, there is an internal temperature towards one person, and I am not at all interested in swaying that. It's fine by me. Is he in the bunk bed beneath me? Sure, but I recognize that there is absolutely nothing anyone can do to get him off the hook.
And you talk a little smack to him, even when you throw up your nomination there too. You're like,
yeah, he didn't just shoot himself in the foot. Emptied the entire fucking magazine into his leg. Just kept shooting. And I will say, like, when Michaela and I were chatting, and she puts this decision on me, I was like, okay, fuck. Who do I fucking pick? And I felt Derek Chavez would understand the most, both the position we were in and also the fact that he is quite protected in the house. Like, there is no threat on him.
didn't even get a single vote, so.
It didn't get a single vote, right? And, we'd had like a 10-minute conversation because, Michaela went and brought him down. And I explained, I was like, look, we have to pick somebody, and it's going to be Gabe. I've spoken to the house, but we have to put somebody up. I just know that you're incredibly well connected, and
He didn't seem to care at all.
No, he didn't seem to really care. He did make the mention of, like, when you say someone's name once, it does become easier for people to throw it in the future. But I'm just like,
Valid.
which is valid, but at the same time, like,
You got to say someone.
I have to say somebody, and like, it shouldn't be thrown back at him in the future because the context of this week was the context of this week, right? Like, if somebody tried to use this against him down the line, if they were like, well, Derek, you were already brought up for nomination, then him and everybody else could bring up, well, yeah, and nobody voted him in. That was a product of that power for that week. So I don't know. I get what he was saying about how it could impact him in the future, but at the same time, I was like, I don't see that occurring. Told him it's just a stupid decision we have to make.
Yeah, I'm doing
obviously,
this.
Nomination went exactly as predicted. Unanimous. Everybody voted for Gabe. First time this season that the whole house has, gotten on board with somebody, which that was nice.
Yeah. So we are nearing the end here, so I do want to talk about the actual elimination itself because complete blowout. Now, I think there's twofold as to why this happened. One, it is definitely more intensive to be the runner first. So Bananas definitely got the short end of the stick with that, like, without a doubt. But also, you could just see that Gabe was so just perfect for this role. I mean, a football player, really? Like, this guy is designed to run hard and fast in a straight line, like, just to bowl through
And
things.
push through resistance
Exactly,
bands.
right?
Like,
And he was so smart about his approach because Bananas was trying to like Jimmy, oh, I'm going to go with this one. Nope, I'm actually going with this one. But you could see he just did not get nearly as much drive as Gabe did. I mean, he would kind of start moving, but Gabe was on him. It was almost like Gabe was there on him before Bananas even started moving, even when Bananas was trying to fool him. Gets it done in just over 11 minutes. Looked exhausted, gave it his all, but he's like running back and forth in between these ropes to try to fool it. And then when we watch Gabe's strategy, I mean, he did it in 2 minutes and 1 second, I believe it was. He literally just quietly set himself up, clicked in, and then just full blast ahead. And when Bananas was like, I don't even want to put my arms on this rope, like he's going to rip my arms off.
Yeah.
I felt that, man. Like, that is some serious force. I mean, if you combine he's probably 230, he's probably 230 pounds, running as fast as possible.
250, 260.
No way.
Dude, he's 6'6". He's 6'6".
Oh, okay. Yeah, that doesn't come across on camera. Okay, so 250, running as fast. We're talking about like 750 pounds of force, and you're supposed to stop that? Like,
good luck.
Good luck. Probably more. I'm probably lowballing how much power that is. So it was just, you could even see it. Like, he'd get to the rope, and he was almost hesitant about trying to stop him because it was moving so fast. It took him no time to just absolutely demolish that. It was great. It actually showed a lot of his skill and value as a player because he's been iced for the last 2 challenges. He's been on the sidelines.
This was cinematic in the sense that Gabe, who wanted desperately to prove to the house the value that he can bring and earn some favor back, this is exactly the performance he needed. You couldn't have written it better. And Bananas tried all of the veteran savviness, the bending of the rules that he possibly could, right? In the beginning, and they don't really show this because it was breaking the rules, but he would like fall on the rope. He would like collapse on one side, fall on the rope, and the production was very clear. They were like, Johnny, get up. You have to keep standing and you have to keep behind the log, right? And Johnny on the ground trying to hold on to it. They were like, no. And also what was strategically just odd about both of their approaches, I think, was I know Johnny left the middle one for the last, which was so silly. Like, you should have tried to do the middle one first, and then boom, you've got the left and right side, and that's going to cause the person behind there to keep running back and forth, keep being confused. But at some point, they're going to recognize the middle one's the last one. All I need to do is camp on this rope, which is 100% the position Bananas ended up in. I can't remember which one was Gabe's last little totem, but yeah, it didn't fucking matter. It literally did not fucking matter. He trucked his way through, and I don't know. I think that like everybody was so sure that Johnny was going to beat him, but then we get to the arena and see what it is, and we're like, oh, nope.
Nope.
That's how the game works. That's the beauty of it is you can have the 7-time champ, the guy that's done 25 seasons, who's gone to 13 finals, just get completely bamboozled and blasted apart.
I thought it was interesting because it's like you would think with a guy like Bananas, this episode was puzzle strategy, and then the challenge the elimination was pure physical strength. And people can say, oh, well, there's some strategy in the ropes. Not really, man. This was very much so, what is your 20-yard dash? That was pretty much what it was. Like, how much power and force can you generate in a short period of time? It was 99% physical with a little bit of play in it. But so I thought it was a really well balanced episode, which I really liked because last episode, we weren't saying that. But this episode I thought was really well balanced. But it seemed as though, like Bananas, he's very physically strong and he's quite savvy. And he just didn't have – it was like he was matched up very poorly with both of those things. So it was a bit of a perfect storm for him to get eliminated, but he did.
It's like fights, man. Stylistically, styles make fights, and this was just stylistically terrible for Johnny. And I'll highlight another way that he was breaking the rules when he was on offense trying to run the totems. Like, what you're supposed to do is clip in and then you run. Right, you have to clip in and then you take off.
He was yanking on it without clipping.
He was running and then clipping it as he was going, but he would wait as long as he possibly could because if he didn't clip it in and Gabe tugs on it, then all Johnny needs to do is let it go.
And he threw it too.
And throws it. So Johnny was trying to break, as expected. He was trying to break as many rules as possible, and it did not matter. 2 minutes versus 11. Honestly, 11 felt that felt like 20 minutes that Johnny was down there. There were multiple times where he would just stop and stall and be on his knees, and you were just thinking,
dude, I mean,
oh,
Gabe was
man.
a brick wall. Like, you could see, like, Johnny started running, and Gabe was like, you ain't going anywhere. Like, would just grab that rope and just immediately stop him. I mean, that's one of those ones where it's like, you know, obviously, imagine, like, you versus Gabe in that.
Oh, my God. I wouldn't get off
Like,
the starting block.
He literally, if he was running and you grabbed that rope,
I'm going through the wall.
you're going through the wall. Yeah, like, that would have been crazy. Just, yeesh. So, yeah.
I wind up in the basket. Like,
Yeah. I am curious, like, I wonder, like, do they decide which one of these they're going to use based on who goes in there? And I think that's probably movie magic. I don't know if we'll ever know the answer to that, but
I think it's tough because, again, this gets back to the conspiracy, the tinfoil hat side of the community. Like, I think they have a schedule of eliminations, and they just run that playbook. I don't think there's a lot of mixing and matching, because if they did,
I bet
then
there's some.
There might be,
There's probably some
maybe.
extreme scenarios where they're like, we got to mix this up.
Okay, but think about it this way. Johnny brings attention to the show, you know, in a lot of ways.
I would protect him if I was a producer, straight up.
Right.
Straight up, I would protect him.
So to put him in an elimination like this against a guy like Gabe, I feel like that should diffuse and neutralize a lot of the crowd that's like,
But maybe that's the plan.
for this season, and then
Oh,
next
you think
season.
you think we cheat with Johnny? Let's eliminate him.
But yeah, who knows? Tough night for Johnny. Not the season he wanted. I feel like he's been an early boot like this a couple times before, but again, the rarity of him coming in last in a daily challenge, sending himself to the arena against the biggest, brutish, most physical guy in the house. Tough. And I got to watch it from the peanut gallery, which was silent for a very specific reason. This isn't to help a specific person, but they were like, if you guys cheer for anybody, it'll inform the competitors, like, oh, Gabe's on this one, or you know, Johnny's doing this. So just for everybody, shut the fuck up for both sides here. And we were like more than happy to. But yeah, I got to watch it from the King's Throne this episode.
Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty much it. That's a good recap of the episode. Ben, is there anything else that we missed? Any other tea? Any other important pieces that you wanted to bring up?
I'm trying to recollect of anything specific.
What was the sentiment in the house after Gabe dominated?
The sentiment in the house between me, Jeremy, and the Tarzan and the Janes group was like, okay, not optimal, but still good that Johnny was gone. D was obviously a little bit bummed, but like the point, I would say the point, because I've spoken about this before, there was that third faction that was waiting for either Johnny or Bananas to crumble. Johnny goes home, and we're like, okay, great, we can start working on...
Will seeing Johnny go home?
Hey,
yo,
talking
D.
to D. Yeah.
Yo, D, I see your man is gone.
Double fisting vodka drinks, just like, D, you want to come sip on these with me? Let's go punch brick walls together. No, but so, yeah, the sentiment was like, okay, this isn't optimal, but totally fine. Now we get to start chipping away at the bottom tier of Olivia's faction, and then that'll even things out for everybody, because Olivia's head was next. And that's exactly why I picked her as my partner.
Because she was a girls' week, I assume?
It was, I mean, the assumption was it was going to be a girl, but we didn't know. And we still don't. Who knows? Could be a girl, could be a guy next week. But I just figured, like we've spoken about with the strategy and picking partners, I don't know if I'll come in first again. I want to make the most of this ultimate power, and so let me snatch the most powerful woman in the house, the one who's got all of the points, all of the connections. Let me just attach myself to her, because that'll at least guarantee some safety. So there is a lot of thinking. I know I look kind of stupid sometimes, but this little organ's been cooking.
Not just a hat rack, my friends. Not just a hat rack. All right,
Not just a turtleneck.
Yeah, I very much so look forward to that. This has been another episode of DNR. Guys, make sure to... Oh, you're not done?
Well, we've got
Because I
our
felt like
little-
that was a pretty great setup, Ben.
I'm sorry.
Just kidding. I'm kidding.
I've got some of my social posts that I want to share
Okay,
with
hell
you.
yeah. Let's go through it.
Okay, I love Ben so far this season, but he's giving me SNL single ladies vibes in the club with his outfit. This is a little bit of my strategic thinking with Michaela, where I'm like, okay, I don't really trust where your head's at. Goodbye, Ben and Cedric. Maybe a good duo. Maybe
Could be an underrated duo. Could be.
Could be. What is Ben wearing? Just disregard that. I think this was all. Gotta win. Listen,
yeah.
the Ben's Barbies community was out in full force. This was
This
was exactly what the team wanted.
Dude, I love it so much. I don't know why I love the turtlenecks, the sleeveless turtlenecks so much. People
I
seem
like
to
it
hate
too, man.
Dude, I double down on it. Wear it again. You have to.
You know what? I will. I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna bring it next season if I got a call back. But yeah, I think that's about it.
Awesome. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. Anyways, thank you very much. The target is 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season. So let's try to make that happen. Hit that sub button. If you want to listen to the audio only version, it is in the description. If you do listen to it, make sure to hit that 5 stars on Spotify. It helps very much. And of course, like the video. Yes, that's 5 stars, as you can see. So yeah, thank you very much, everybody. I'm Riley Osborne, and that's Ben the Bane Davis signing off.